The SGA elections, freshman skits, and Butler's theater department are among the top stories this week. Hi, I'm Megan Marksfeld, and this is the Butler Beat. Butler students will be going to the polls in less than a week to elect a new Student Government Association president. Adam Ross reports.
Campaigning is underway for SGA candidates. Last Thursday in the pharmacy building, Christopher Ring and Kylie Kiesler squared off in the presidential debate. The two candidates presented their platforms in front of potential voters and current SGA members. Both Ring and Kiesler believe that the most important thing to focus on is ensuring that Butler students have an enjoyable experience at the university. The two presidential hopefuls answered questions throughout the night. One question that remains unanswered, though, is how relevant is SGA and what power does it actually have? Butler Jr. and former SGA Vice President Jonathan Spear believes SGA is an organized representation of the students.
Well, SGA serves as the voice of the students for Butler University, and that voice is carried out through the executive board, namely Chad Blazinski is the president and Christina Koteff, who's the VP of administration. And together they have weekly, sometimes more than once a week, meetings with the administration, Bobby Fong, Sylvester Johnson, Jamie Comstock, to kind of really voice the concerns of the students.
Spear also discussed SGA's initiative on creating fun, late-night weekend programs.
Program board with Leisha Cowie has been doing a lot of work with trying to do things on the weekend that would be alternatives to going to Broad Ripple or drinking, and kind of just doing more things in Atherton.
SGA is responsible for the drunk bus, as it's referred to on campus. The free shuttle service takes students to Broad Ripple and Glendale Mall on the weekends. As far as the power of SGA, though, there's not much there.
SGA doesn't really have any power to make changes on the campus, but more, like I said, to serve as the voice and kind of influence the administration to make the decisions.
Elections for the SGA president will take place this Sunday, February 21st. For more information on SGA, log on to butler.edu/SGA. For the Butler Beat, I'm Adam Ross.
A relief fund for Haitian earthquake victims and the big winner at this year's freshman skits. Leslie Gardner reports on who the winning housing units are too.
Freshman Skits is a way for fraternities and sororities to introduce their new pledge classes. This year's theme was BU in 2022. Spirits were high and excitement was radiating before performances.
Well, I'm really looking forward to tonight, so it should be good.
We're going to show the world what killer dance moves. We got this, we're going to show them how to do it. We're going to win!
Many skits were creative and entailed stomp routines and fun dances. The members in the crowd roared and cheered when their fraternity or sorority would perform. There were also numerous funny portrayals of famous Butler staff, such as Bobby Fong and Sylvester Johnson. Competition was fierce, but in the end, the judges scored Phi Kappa Psi and Kappa Alpha Theta the highest.
It's time for Java Jams once again, and Aaron Masola has that story.
Butler University's Coffee House organizes Java Jams, a musical act competition between Butler students. Java Jams is split up into 3 rounds. The first round took place Saturday in the Riley Room, where 7 acts performed and 5 moved on. Audience member Jake Kaplan talks about his experience at Java Jams.
I was really interested in the whole Java Jams experience. I went last year. I was a freshman last year, so it was really cool. I just was really interested in what the performers were going to be like this year. I was really impressed last year, and I felt like I should come again.
To vote, audience members complete a ballot ranking the performances. A prize will be given to the favorite performance voted by the audience and judges.
I thought they were really good. I thought there's a lot of talent, and they're all really, really musically talented.
Round 2 will be on Friday, February 26th at 7 p.m., and the final round will be on Friday, March 19th at 8 p.m. Be sure to stop by and support your fellow students. For the Butler Beat, I'm Aaron Masola.
The Jordan College of Fine Arts is warming up this winter with some entertainment offerings. Our first report from Kyle Inskeep pertains to the latest from the theater department.
Butler Theater kicks off the second part of its 2009-2010 season in less than a week. The department's first show of the new year will be The Cherry Orchard, written by Anton Chevelle.
Well, it centers on an aristocratic family who loses their home and their estate, which has the most beautiful cherry orchard in all of Russia, supposedly, and they lose this, and it's a really tragic event for them. But it's also about the rise of, like, the freed servants.
The show, oftentimes seen as a tragedy by audiences, was originally written as a comedy. But this is not the usual comedy, and the audience won't be laughing from beginning to end.
It's not like really pure comedy because, like, I believe our life, it can be comedy, tragedy, soap opera sometimes, everything. And because of that, it's right, it's a lot of very funny personages, a lot of funny characters. But situations themselves, very sad, even tragic.
Although the cast has had only 5 weeks to put the show together, they refuse to let their performance reflect this. Some cast members are even looking at the short production time as a learning experience.
Cherry Orchard is native to Russia, and in Russia they spend about 8 months in the rehearsal process, but here we only have 5 weeks. So it's kind of a struggle getting everyone together and getting really focused and getting really invested in the show and the rehearsal process. But it's also a really nice learning experience because, I mean, that's why we're here, is to learn. Don't be silly.
The Cherry Orchard will run from February 24th through February 28th, with shows at both 2 and 8 p.m. All performances will be held in the Lily Hall Studio Theater. Tickets for the play are $5 and can be purchased at the door or at the Lily Hall box office. For the Butler Beat, I'm Kyle Linsky.
If music is more your style, Olivia Smiley says there's a group in JCFA that can help you with that too.
One poster you're bound to see sometime in Lily Hall is this one. The JCFA Composers Orchestra puts on several performances each year featuring works by Butler's own. Composition professor Frank Felice knows the importance of these performances.
At the end of the 4 years that they're here as student composers, they then have a good portfolio that they can use to take beyond Butler.
Senior composition major Ben Goshorn Maroney has been a part of the group since his freshman year.
Zane Merritt, one of our composers, actually wrote a piece for this concert, and it's as much staged as it is music. Like, it's a lot of composer orchestra things are more theatrical. There's a lot of movement and a lot of extraneous activity that goes into them. Zane's piece, for example, all the singers, while they're performing their assigned notes, they'll also be taking off their shoes and throwing them at Zane Merritt. So, as you can see, it's more of a spectacle and more of a theatrical piece than just a musical production.
Graduate student Zane Merritt said the ensemble is unique as far as music ensembles go.
The pieces don't take themselves as seriously, and even if they do, we tend to not take them as seriously. I mean, it's about just entertaining.
And entertaining it is. Some of the pieces even call for audience participation. No matter your taste in music, almost anything can be found at a composer's orchestra concert. For the Butler Beat, I'm Olivia Smiley.
Spring break is just a couple of weeks away. When the Butler Beat resumes, I'll tell you about a program at the HRC that's helping students get rid of some winter weight